Yo,
How's it going?
what's up, man? How are
Good,
you?
man. How are ya?
Pretty good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh,
we
yeah.
can, yeah.
So what's up, man? So you're freelancing now, right?
Yeah. I moved from Kamloops to down to Surrey and
Nice,
going full time with it.
nice, dude. Congrats. So we have you rolling right now on the live, and we're obviously recording this call too. So do you want to give some people like a little bit of a backstory of like who you are, when you got into filmmaking, what you're doing now?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
So pretty much like I think it was 2016 or 2017. I had a friend in school that wanted a music video, and he knew that I did like a lot of skateboard videos and stuff like that. I'd never really tried to do any professional work. So he asked me if I could film a music video. I was like, sure, I have no idea where to start. But I found the video that you made with Bon Feast a while ago,
Nice.
and kind of just went off that. It was really fun. So I wanted to do more of it, and more of my friends started making music.
Nice.
So more and more of them started to come to me and ask me to do videos, and I just started looking at more and more tutorials.
Nice, man.
Mostly your guys' videos, honestly.
Sick. It's awesome to hear. So, I guess if you just want to start out, do you have any questions for us, man?
Yeah, so right now, where I'm at is like about a month ago, I quit my full-time job when I moved down here. I was in construction, and I had like a little bit of consistent work in Kamloops, but since I was working full-time, I didn't have a lot of time to really reach out to people. It's mostly just people coming to me.
Mhm.
So I had like a couple smaller businesses in Kamloops that I was doing videos for. One was like a pub and grill. And then I had Pacific Taco, like a local Pacific Taco, and then a nightclub that wanted videos. So those were like my three like main video jobs outside of music videos.
Mhm.
But now that I'm in the new location, people don't really know who I am because Kamloops is pretty small. I wasn't the only videographer, but there was so few of us that most people that needed videos knew who I was.
Sweet.
So I started reaching out to some companies looking to try to get some retainer business. And I did do Contra services with one of the videos.
Nice.
I got the idea from Kyle.
Right
Nice.
on, buddy.
And I got some free supplements from this brand called Pirka. I just did like a couple small little sample videos for them. I got the contact through my grandma who works for them. And I'm still kind of trying to talk them into wanting to work out a contract. And I've gone into a few small businesses here and just kind of let them know who I am and tried to start up a conversation. But I kind of find myself a little lost on what kind of questions I should be asking to try to really gain their attention and how I should go about quoting these videos. And that's kind of where I'm at with those.
Cool. That's an answer for you for sure.
For sure. I mean, one thing I'll start by saying is congratulations. It's probably pretty scary to take the leap from, well, I know it is because we both did it, right? We took the leap from part-time side hustle to try to pursue it as full-time. So good for you for kind of taking that leap because kind of like you said, like you were at the point where you were at a barrier where you only had a certain amount of time outside of your 9-to-5 job to pursue this. So good for you. How far, this kind of a little bit back because you had a lot of kind of information that you delivered there. How far are you from Kamloops today?
I'm about 3.5 hours. So those videos that I was doing for those other businesses, they're still wanting to do some stuff with me. So
Cool. Yeah.
actually at the beginning of February, I'm going back there for about a week and a half. I'm going to be working with them again.
Nice.
Nice.
Sweet. So that was actually what I was going to say. It's still the fact that it's only 3.5 hours. You probably still have some friends and family, maybe even there that you could spend a night. I mean, maybe not during COVID, but you get the concept.
Yeah.
One thing that you could do is try to set up maybe multiple shoots within 1 day or 2 days. That way you still kind of maintain those relationships because, like you said, like they know you, they trust you, they were consistent work for you. That way at least you have some stuff coming in today.
Yeah.
Which is a good starting point for you.
Yeah.
So when you're going into these businesses, what kind of process, like, why don't you lead me through what you would say? And then I can kind of diagnose that and then maybe give you some advice on maybe what I would say to tweak it or change it so that hopefully that can lead you to maybe get better conversions with, because at the end of the day, it's awkward to go into businesses. Like, I'm sure you realize that by doing it. The upside is that the more you do it, the less awkward it becomes. But at the end of the day, it's like you're going in there asking for money, right?
Yeah.
Which isn't easy.
So what I actually have this notepad here with a bunch of businesses, and what I did was I went on Instagram and Facebook and just kind of Googled some stuff. I just tried to find local businesses that were already trying to have a social media presence.
Yeah.
I figured the people that are already trying to do it, it's going to be a lot easier to convince them the value in getting a high quality video. So I wrote down a list of 20 businesses that I wanted to approach. I tried to get the owner's name and like either a phone number and email for them.
Okay.
And some of the businesses I've tried to contact like through email or something like that because most of the businesses I've gone into, the owner hasn't been there. So I've tried to contact them through email. And I kind of just give them a small rundown of who I am and what I do, and then what I could do for them. So I in my notes, I've listed down, okay, this business has really high quality photos, but they don't have any video. So I can approach them about video work. Or some people have photos and video, but they're just iPhone videos. So I try to, in a nice way, say that I can help improve them, like what they're doing already.
Perfect.
As far as exact wording goes, it kind of varies.
For sure.
I'm a pretty nervous person when it comes to like talking to people in person. So I find myself getting really hung up, and I've kind of looked at doing like a course or something of public speaking.
Okay. Honestly, the best advice I can give you is just repetition.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna fail a lot. It's just inevitable. And even like what we're doing today is probably actually indirectly gonna help you when it goes into your next kind of sales pitch, because like this interaction today is actually building towards that communication skill that you can then pitch that client. So how has the email kind of pitches gone for you? Like, have you kind of just been getting like the no response, or what kind of responses are you getting when you do the emails?
So with the company that I got the Contra services with, they did, once they received the videos that I'd done, they really liked them, and they asked me for like a quote on how much it would cost. So that's when I sent a second email going over just some different packages that I could offer to them, and doing the same thing that you said, just the more videos, like dropping the price down a little bit, like adding some free photos in there. And that was, I think, 10 days ago. I don't know. It was right before Christmas, maybe about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So then they went on their Christmas vacation and stuff, and I haven't heard anything from them back. So I was actually gonna ask you guys if maybe in a situation like that, would you go back and add a follow-up email after Christmas, like kind of
100%
Happy New Year kind of?
Exactly. Yeah. I did some of that this morning. Just from like ongoing client relationships. Some of the stuff that we've like have ongoing video relationships with, I hadn't really had much communication because they took time off, we took time off. Now it's kind of just like getting back into the mix of things. So if you can, call them. If not, the email works. People can avoid emails very easily, but they can't avoid the phone. Yeah. Right? Like, so when you're talking to somebody in person or over the phone, it's a lot harder for them to come up with excuses as to why they don't see value in video or whatever their excuse may be. Mm-hmm. How many times do you call the business versus how many times do you email the business?
Mostly email because of like the speaking thing with me. Like I get really nervous, and even if I have like, I try to, when I do call somebody, I try to have like a notepad with me with everything that I want to say in like a point form.
That's awesome. Props to that. That's good.
Because as soon as they answer, I'm like, oh my God, I tense up and I can't speak.
Which isn't uncommon for like majority of people, right? Like concept of selling things is difficult, right? It takes a lot of repetition. So I think what I would tell you from an advice standpoint is just start picking up the phone, dude. Like even if you're freezing up and like that client goes like, oh, that was stupid, like what just happened there, whatever, you know, like you still have 9 more on your list. By the time you get to number 10, chances are that conversation is going to be way smoother than what the conversation was on the first time. So that would be what I would tell you to do based on kind of your current situation.
So I've been lining up as many videos in advance as I can, and getting down payments on them to secure those dates. I just most of my video work is music videos. So I'll either have an artist approach me or I'll approach an artist about a video. We'll get like a rough idea of what we want to do, and then I'll give them a quote.
Yep.
And then I just tell them that once I get the down payment, we can move further in the planning process and I can set aside that date out of my availability. And that's been going pretty good. But now that I'm moving into businesses,
Yep.
I'm not sure, especially with the retainer stuff, I'm not sure what kind of contracts I should be getting set up for stuff like that.
That's a good question. And I actually get that question a lot. Personally, the way I like to approach it with our company and with Subtle Cinematics is I don't actually like to have a written contract. Now, probably a lot of lawyers would be like, well, that's stupid. You should have it in writing, yada, 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 yada. For me, the approach that I like to take is like, I've said it a lot in kind of the short time that I've been on this YouTube channel about building relationships.
Mm-hmm.
For me, with our retainer relationships, I always want us as Subtle Cinematics to continue to like over provide value to these business owners. So whether that's maybe tossing in a couple extra photos here or there, or just going above and beyond with our services that we're giving them, so much so that they look at our relationship as like, I need these guys are helping me, I value their relationship. If at which point in time the relationship between us and that business gets to the point where the business owner's like, you know what, like we don't really see value in the work you're doing anymore, maybe it is a good time for us to cut ties with them anyways. Maybe our creativity within that genre of video is kind of dried up, and a fresh set of eyes is actually going to help that business. So with that being said, I usually don't try to approach a business with a contract. Also, based on my experience of doing it when I was younger, a lot of businesses do get scared away when all of a sudden you try to lock them into a full year contract of $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month. All of a sudden they're like staring down $24,000 in video production, and they're like locked into that.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you can just continue to over provide them value every single month, they're going to stick with you for the long run.
Okay.
So I wouldn't get too hung up on contracts. Again, this is just my opinion and what's worked for me, but more so just like spending the time to like actually get to know the business owner. Like, for example, the follow-up emails I was sending this morning, like they weren't emails that were like, okay, it's time for you to pay me for this month's video work. It's more so just like, how was your Christmas? Hope you enjoyed your time with your family, yada, yada, yada. Just kind of nurturing that relationship.
I know that you've been trying to do, like with your music videos, you've been trying to have more artists on and have like a bit of a storyline to it.
Definitely,
more cinematic and stuff. How do you go about like that planning process? Like, is it mostly the artist's ideas? Is it mostly your ideas, or is it just a combination of both?
So I have a weird way of like coming up with my treatments. So when an artist sends me a song, let's use Bonfils for example. He sends me a song, and the first thing that I do is literally have that song on repeat. I'm like, okay, I'll get back to you in like a week and I'll come up with a treatment. And I literally just like when I'm driving home, I'm just blasting that song. When I'm going to work, I'm blasting that song. When I'm editing or color grading, I'm literally listening to that song on repeat. And just, it's really random for me sometimes when it comes to treatments, because like all of a sudden, like, you know that one music video we dropped, the Nuwujalo, Not the Same, the one where he like shoots the gun and stuff at the party.
Yeah.
So that literally all came to me within like 5 minutes after I'd listened to the song like 50 times over. All of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, like we need to have like some sort of like breakup scene. And then he ends up at a party and then he's getting arrested. I'm like, okay, cool. And I literally just started jotting everything down on a whiteboard. And what I'll do is I'll just put song name, and then I'll put like a props. Like I'll make like literally like a tree pretty much, and I'll be like props that we need, and then I'll make point forms. Basically just breaking everything down in a like it's very random. It's extremely random when I come up with my treatments. But when we do come up with the treatments, I'll take everything just like one step at a time. I always start with locations just because like I don't know what it's like where you live, but in our city it can be a little difficult to find indoor locations, especially in the winter too. So I start with locations and then I kind of craft my treatments around the locations for the most part. Now, a lot of people who live in bigger cities, like if you're in LA, it's not an issue, right? You have access to 30 different studios that you can rent and you can find budget and pull budget for those. But I feel for people like us, we have to more so craft the treatment around our environment. But
Yeah.
that's kind of my treatment process. It's very just listening to the song on repeat until I come up with a couple different ideas, and then I pitch that to the artist. I would say 99% of the time artists are super chill with the treatments if I do give them like a written treatment. Do you do that for your music videos, or do you just kind of text them the ideas?
So most of the artists that I work with or have worked with, they don't want to. They just want to go and shoot something. They want to like
Flex
okay,
on you.
That's it,
meet
yeah.
me downtown, and we'll go find some stuff and shoot for 4 hours. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of that stuff, and I will also want to get into more like storytelling almost with the music videos. So one music video that I have that's coming out soon. The artist I've known for a while, but we've never done a video together. And he works full time, so music isn't his main thing, but he just likes to do it for fun. So he said he wanted to do a music video, but he didn't know what to do. And he sent me the song, and we made a date and stuff like that. And then I was starting to try to come up with some ideas because I told him that I wanted to do something more than just going out and getting some random shots and slapping it together.
Yeah.
And he said that sounded cool. And I sent him a bunch of ideas, and he liked them, but he wasn't like set on them. He's like, okay, I'll get back to you. And then I was like, okay, I got to redo this. And I wrote down a bunch of ideas in like a Google Docs and set it up as like in order of how it would go, some specific shots and stuff like that. And I sent that into a Google Docs to him. And right before I sent it, he told me that he didn't want to do the video anymore. And I was like, hey, well, just check out the ideas that I like sent you.
Yeah.
And he really liked it, so we ended up still doing the video.
Nice.
So that was like my first time really doing anything like that.
Good for you.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the artist, honestly, man. Like, some artists
Yeah.
literally just don't care. Like, they literally just want a flex video just to show their friends. And that's it, just to flex on their friends and, you know, stuff like that. So, I think it just comes down to finding the right artist. Now, when you do find the right artist, let's say they maybe don't have a budget. Like, I would personally like to do a music video with a storyline with a low budget if I haven't really done too much of that, just so I can make it like above and beyond all my other music video projects, so I can then pitch that to a bigger, more established artist, maybe in like Vancouver or something, right? In a bigger kind of hub.
One question I do have for you too, with kind of respect to that scenario, was earlier in the call you had mentioned that you try to get the deposit before you kind of get going on the process. At which point in, just because I think there's other people that can benefit from this, at which point in time do you get the deposit? Like, are you creating storyboards before, or do you get the deposit at the start?
I guess I do like a tiny bit of storyboarding. We just get an idea of what we want to do. We don't actually write down specific ideas necessarily. I just see where the artist is at, and he just tells me, like, I guess it could be a girl or boy, but
Right.
The artist tells me like just a rough idea of what they want, and then based off that, I can tell them like how much I charge. So I pretty much just listen to what they have to say, and then from there, I'll give them a quote, and then if they are okay with that price, then I send the invoice and I get the deposit. And once I've received the deposit, that's when I start really digging, like
Yeah.
searching for ideas of my own and putting time into it, because I've definitely, like before when I was first starting out, I definitely wasted a lot of time
Yeah.
spending like like couple hours on the phone with the artist, like talking ideas, like writing stuff down, storyboarding, and like, hey, like the deposit's coming in a few days, deposit's coming in a few days, and then like ended up putting in like hours of work, and then they decide that they don't want it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's totally how it is starting out music videos, man. I went through that for
Yeah.
years, man. I went through that. I think everybody who shot music videos goes through that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel that.
With my like videography business that I'm setting up, I want to like kind of focus on like three main styles of videos, I guess, and that's music videos and like product videos. I don't know if you guys seen anything on my Instagram, but I just did like a few sample videos. Like I did like a Shreddy's like sample commercial and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
it was
just
dope.
like product videos that I could do in my kitchen and stuff.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
for you.
And then the third one being like going to businesses and just doing like a little business promo for them. So what I have for gear right now is I have a Sony A6600 Rode Video Mic Pro. I have my Canon T4i with a fisheye, and then like a kit lens. For the Sony, I have a kit lens that's an 18-135 and a 12 mil prime. And then I have my gimbal and a couple soft boxes. And I'm looking to invest like another $5,000 into gear. So I was just wondering what kind of stuff you guys would suggest to get. I want to get for sure like a 35 millimeter prime,
Yeah.
a 50 mil prime, and I was contemplating getting the Loa like optics 24 millimeter probe lens for
Yeah.
those like product videos. But I'm not sure what other kind of gear I should be looking at into getting for that style of any of those styles of videos.
Well, yeah, I mean, personally, like, I always use a 35 mil focal length on the S1. That's just a lens and a focal length that is just in my camera bag for every single shoot. Like, I do not leave for a shoot without that lens. So I think that just gives you a perfect focal length for anything, whether it is music video, corporate, fitness, whatever it is you're shooting. I would say, though, something that I wish I invested in when I was just kind of starting out, or like the first year or two into filmmaking, is proper lighting. I would say like an Aperture 120D, I think it's a Mark II maybe, but the Aperture 120D or a 300D if you can squeeze some extra budget in there, I would just get a 300D. And then get the Aperture Light Dome, and then the Aperture Light Dome Grid.
No, it's probably good to mention the Godox as well.
Godox, yeah. Look up Godox as well, Godox. Those are also like super, super high quality lights for the price. After that, what I would do is probably set myself up for interview shooting. So I would probably purchase a Rode lav mic. So the Rode wireless mic. So then at that point too, that like just opens up like a whole different area of corporate shooting. So you can actually have people on camera with solid audio, and you have an amazing light. So you can really make any environment look good. Like I could literally light up an interview so well that like I can make a T3i with like a 50 mil prime or a 35 mil prime look actually pretty good. So definitely lighting, and then maybe look into like a C stand made by Newer. We use the Newer C stands as well, and that'll hold the apertures perfectly fine, as well as Godox. So I would say for sure lighting, a 35 mil or around that, and then a wireless mic. And you probably have extra budget to like buy some other stuff. Maybe you could have extra budget to purchase that probe lens, and even pairing the probe lens with an Aperture 120D or 300D is just gonna allow for so much extra light than just like the little ring light on those things.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to get even cleaner shots with that probe lens.
They are really expensive though. Like if I was in your position, I wouldn't get too hung up on that specific lens.
Yeah.
Like
It's a hype beast lens.
Yeah.
It really is.
yeah, like
Yeah, I rented one and like just to like do that video for that company.
yeah.
And the light ring on it wasn't working.
Oh no.
And like, I only have like the Newer light boxes, so they're not like super bright, and it was so hard to get light on them. Like I had like a couple small Newer light battery powered lights, and then I had my 3 soft boxes on this little area, and it's still like pretty dark.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
man.
they
It's like
definitely need a lot of
f40.
light.
Yeah, like the apertures would 100% work. I mean, we have a probe lens, but how often do we use it? I don't know, maybe once every 2 months since we've gotten it. So I would just continue to rent at that point and spend that extra $1,600 elsewhere.
Yeah, like you'll get a lot better return on investment if you try to put yourself in a situation where you're getting equipment that's going to help kind of the corporate side of things, because like at the end of the day, the music videos are probably the most fun to create, but the corporate's going to be the best paying.
Yeah.
So if you really want to start to advance your business, you're going to have to start mixing in more corporate. The audio quality, like you mentioned, is huge. Like I know, like I made a huge, like we all made the mistake of like thinking audio was kind of just like whatever, but it's make or break, especially if it's a talking head type video. You had also mentioned some colored lights. I'll let kind of Anastas talk about this. These are 2 that we have, and I think they're fairly inexpensive.
They are, yeah. I'll start with the bowling. So have you heard about these, the bowling P1?
Yeah, I've heard you talk about those in
Yeah,
some of your videos.
I always talk about them. Been talking about them for years. They sent me these like 2.5 years ago, and I still use them to this day. It's the same one. Still works perfectly fine. Charge it USB-C. It's full RGB spectrum. You get a little LCD screen on the back. It's strobes, which is awesome for music videos. It has like a strobing cop light too, which is nice for music videos as well. But they're also bright as hell. So this is a good cop for like $140. Like you could easily cop 2 of these and use them as like kicker lights or like ring lights and stuff like that. So this is a good option, as well as I don't know if you've heard of this brand, Luminate. Basically, they're like fully waterproof. Like, dude, I literally, they posted a video of a car running this thing over, and I honestly couldn't believe it. So like me and Dyson literally ran over one of my tube lights, and it worked perfectly fine. So like that's how damn durable these things are. They're totally waterproof, so you could get some pretty cool shots with these as well. And I think they're about $180 for 2. They come in packs of 2.
Okay.
So these are good kind of budget light just to have. They do come with 2 clips as well, so you can like clip them to a C-stand or like a fridge or something. So when you're shooting,
magnetic.
so when you're shooting trap videos, you can like kind of shove them like wherever and use them as like backlights and stuff like that. So yeah, these are pretty sweet as well.
Yeah, I want to add more color into the videos.
Yeah,
That's a fairly inexpensive way. Like those 2 options are pretty cheap for what you get out of them, and like we use these exact lights for like backlighting for our YouTube videos all the time. So yeah, just thought I'd bring that up. It's a decent option for.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
The end of the month here, I'm going to the island to do like a real estate video.
Okay.
Nice.
And I was going to be renting like a couple pieces of gear. I was going to actually rent some more lighting. So maybe I'll try to get like the D300 or something and just try it out.
Yeah.
And then I was going to be using my 12 mil prime as like a wide angle shot. What other like lenses or something like would you use for real estate? Have you done much real estate?
Yeah, I've done a ton in like the past few years, but I own an 11 to 20 millimeter Tokina. It's an f2.8, and it's just like one of the sharpest wide angles I've ever used for like a zoom wide angle. It is insanely sharp. Like we used it out in LA to shoot a music video with Mario Visions, and we literally had the Tokina on a Panasonic EVA 1 cinema camera, and it was just like the most like sharpest video ever, and it just keeps everything in focus because it's just a nice wide angle, even at f2.8. Like Mario was like blown away. He actually ordered one that night after that music video. He's like, this is like stupid sharp for like f2.8. But yeah, I would say the Tokina 11 to 20, and then yeah, just a gimbal, which you already have. But I mean, that 12 mil would probably well, that's a bit of a fisheye though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The Tokina
or the one that you have. You have a 12 mil?
I have it's a wide angle. It's coming in the mail. I just ordered it.
Nice.
So that it'd come here for that video. I have a fisheye I have an 8 mil fisheye for my
okay.
T4i though.
Nice.
Yeah. I made sure that I was getting a wide angle and not a fisheye, so it didn't distort the walls.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be super sharp. So yeah, you'll be good with that. I would say just try to shoot at like a little bit of a higher aperture when you're filming those. So like try to stick at like 4.5, 5 when you're doing those like just super wide shots. And don't be afraid to rebalance your gimbal and grab some like, or just put like your kit lens or like any other lens that's like a prime, like a 30 mil, or which ones do you have again? Sorry, I forget.
For the Sony, I just have the 18 to 135 kit lens and then the 12 mil.
Okay, so yeah, just slap your kit lens on there, rebalance your gimbal, and like when you're taking the real estate shots, like focus on things that like increase the value of a home. So like maybe in the kitchen, like the cabinets, like get like just a simple panning shot of the cabinets, the faucet, close-ups of stuff in the washroom. I don't know, is there anything else you can think? But just get like close-ups just so you can add like a different depth to the video, so it isn't just plain and simple or wide-angle shots. That's how I like to mix up my real estate videos.
Yeah, it's not like, it's actually an old folks home.
Oh, okay.
They want a video for, because they can't bring people in to tour it. It's like a virtual tour.
Nice.
So they did provide me with like all the stuff that they need specific shots of, and they're going to be walking through with me, and showing me exactly everything that they want shot.
Oh, yeah.
So that should be covered. But
nice.
yeah.
That'll be a smooth shoot then. Nice. And that's in Vancouver?
That's in Sydney.
Oh, okay.
On the island.
Yeah. Okay. Got you.
Cool. So how did you get that client? How did that acquisition come to be?
I'm super fortunate because my family actually owns it.
Oh, shit.
And
Okay.
they live in Kamloops, but they own it on the island there. My grandpa is like crazy with real estate. He loves buying real estate. So I'm doing this video in hopes to get more work with them because they've been using some other people for their advertisements and stuff. So
Nice.
kind of told them that I was interested in getting into that area of videography. So that's how I landed that one.
So
super fortunate.
Yeah, but that, honestly, man, that's how it happens, right? Like when you're just getting started, it's all about who you know. And I mean, even to this day, like once you start to actually build a company, it still is about the relationships and the word of mouth marketing. Like you can still put out a shit ton of outbound marketing, but at the end of the day, like the word of mouth and your reputation is really what ends up selling your work. Yeah. Are you getting paid to do this job, or is this something that you're doing to build the portfolio?
No, I'm getting paid for it, and it's to build the portfolio.
Okay, cool. So because of your circumstance with like this, your family owns this situation or owns this building, sorry. One thing that I would consider if I was in your position is how can you extract additional content for building your brand from this? So what I mean by that is like, because your family owns this building, you can probably spend as much time in there as you need to film this. So ultimately you're going to film the video that they're hiring you to film, but just try to think outside of the box and how can you use this opportunity within, whether it's real estate or maybe it's you ask your grandpa, do you have somebody on staff that I can maybe test out my new interview gear? And you actually do like an interview gear. Basically try to pull and extract more value from this specific situation that you can ultimately use to pitch to get other videos, whether that's an interview.
So I'm actually gonna be trying to, like, I haven't done too much stuff with audio before, so I told them that what I wanted to do was, because I sent them like a video of what I thought they might want, which was just a walkthrough. It didn't have any text or it just was a track shot. So told them what I wanted to do would be have somebody, like one of their staff members, almost welcoming the people to the virtual tour.
Nice.
And having them in one of the common spaces that they share, like one of the rec rooms or something, and have some sort of like interview style setup. But it'd be more so to implement the audio throughout the video of her highlighting some of the features that the old folks home has. Because I don't know how much you guys know about old folks homes. I don't really know much about them, but I guess this one has like their own bathroom. Like each person has their own bathroom and all that. And I guess a lot of the COVID outbreaks in old folks home is because they are sharing bathrooms and stuff. So that's like one of the things that they really want to highlight. So it's like stuff like that where she'll be speaking about it, and then I'll be filming it and putting the voiceover over top while she's talking about the different features.
Awesome. Good for you, man. That's like, you're doing the right things. That's exactly how you need to approach the situation. Like, get and extract as much value. Like everything I was just pretty much saying it seems like you're already kind of lining up. So
Yeah, I didn't even like really think of it as like a way to um like approach other businesses about like interview style stuff, but that's like a really good point. I just wanted to do it to have more experience with stuff like that.
yeah,
But
and I mean that's still a good thing. Like
yeah,
at the end of the day, like one thing that like I'm really always focused on is like because I'm not really on set ever doing like the creative aspect, that's him. Like he controls that part of our business. I have full trust in his ability to just knock shit out of the park. What I always like come back to is like the business side of things. Okay, well, like how can I extract value for subtle cinematics out of that shoot? Like you see we do a lot of behind the scenes footage. Not a lot of companies, at least in our local area, are doing that. So I'm always asking the questions, okay, like how do we take this shoot and get paid, get the profits, but then also have like reciprocal value that follows from it? And that's always just like other marketing content, whether that's TikTok content that we create on set, that's an IG reel, that's some behind the scenes split screens that ultimately shows well on our social media channels to build our brand, which will lead to more income down the road.
Yeah, and like, I mean, I don't know how difficult it would be to find like a film homie that would come out and do BTS for you, but like we're just starting to like find out now how important it is to stretch out the content that we film like as much as possible. So like Kyle was saying, let's say we go out and I don't know, shoot a fitness video. So I'm gonna bring Matt or Dyson out and they'll take a behind the scenes video of me filming. So we'll have the final video edit, we'll have a split screen video for IG content, we'll have a full out BTS, so I'll just be talking or whatever to post on YouTube. And then what we're starting to do now is we're snipping like 7 to 10 individual 15 to 1 minute clips of me just like spitting filmmaking facts on set. And then that's like, 10 pieces, like that's over 10 pieces of IG content. Plus we're going to start trickling it out onto YouTube shorts and TikTok. So it's just like trying to hit like every single social media platform. And that's how you really grow a brand really quickly. But just to keep in mind, just to like stretch out your content as much as you can, like double posting like similar content is like fine. Like if you shoot a music video, I don't know, maybe come up with like a cool creative idea after dropping the full video and just like snipping out the dopest slow motion B-roll shots and just put some like different music over it. Like there's so many ways to just like stretch your content, I feel, but it definitely helps out like the algorithm and everything, especially on IG.
I've been trying to get more behind the scenes content and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's huge. Even the the iPhone cinematic that you did, like that BTS or the YouTube, did you post that to YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, that was super dope, man. Like that was pretty easy to film, was it not?
No, yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, man. Like you just like in front of the camera. I mean, like you talk what you do best, man. Like that's all I did when I started my YouTube channel, right? Like I was literally just a kid, like 17, 18 years old. That Bon Feast video was my 4th ever music video, but not very many people know that. And people are commenting, asking if I was filming in New York, and it was literally downtown Regina, Saskatchewan in the middle of winter. So, yeah, there's ways to finesse it, man. Like, you just do what you do best and talk about it, man. I'd say, like, do more vlogging, man. Like, life as, like, a kid being, like, quitting their full-time job to pursue filmmaking. Like, that's a dream for most kids, man.
It is, for sure. One thing I will mention on that, too, is don't pretend to be an expert. Just be, like, truly genuine and authentic with your community or your brand or your following. That's one thing that, like, we've been very strong on with, like, our subtle brand is, like, we're not... Everything that we tell our audience or use for like educational information, we've done ourselves. It's not like we're putting up this facade of like, here's what we think you should do because it could work. We're telling you to do it because we know it works. The question I wanted to ask you is what type of stuff are you doing to build your brand now that you are full-time?
I've been working on my website for my portfolio and stuff. I've had that up for maybe 2 months now. And I've been just going back and tweaking things here and there, adding things. I did like the search engine optimization, and I learned about keyword research and stuff like that, and tried to get the proper keywords on there. I've been doing a lot of like ad setups. One thing with my music videos is most of them get posted like onto my channel. I want to build up my channel as like having the music videos on there. So one thing to add a bit more value to my music videos is I I set up like Google advertisements, like the YouTube, kind of like Instagram boosting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Set up like advertisements on there to help boost the content. So I've been learning a lot about ad setups. So I've been setting up my own ads to help promote my videos and my services, and just trying to target different niches and targeting like business owners and stuff like that, and also targeting other creators. I've been really trying to target since I've been down here, targeting a lot of other creators to get in contact with them.
Cool.
And that's actually worked quite well. I didn't like when I first moved down here, I didn't really know, like I knew of other videographers, but I wasn't really in contact with any other videographers. So I set up a few ads just targeting other video creators. So now I have a bunch of other videographers that I'm in contact with, and I can bounce back ideas. And I think that's really cool, because up until like just a few weeks ago, like no joke, one of the only other videographers I was in contact was Royal Zed. So, and we had only talked over Instagram like a couple times over like a few years. So
yeah, crazy. Yeah, man, collaboration's like key. And like if you do find that it's like a struggle to get somebody to come out and just like shoot for fun, right? Like just shoot like a cool travel style edit or something, like just link up with someone or take photos of each other, right? That's Instagram content right there. I feel like if you have troubles doing that, like just tell them that you're gonna vlog it, or like we should do like a cool creative vlog together or something. And that's YouTube content. That's great YouTube content. Plus you can like clickbait it too. Like you can say like, yo, like vlog or like creative vlog in like Kamloops or something like that, you know?
And then other than that, like I started, like when I did my Shreddies like practice commercial, I also filmed an entire behind the scenes of like me figuring it out.
Cool.
I had no idea what I was doing really, but I just filmed the behind the scenes, and then as I was figuring it out, I'd go back to the other camera and kind of describe what I was thinking would work.
Sweet. Nice.
And I want to try to do more content like that, because it's not really any harder than what I'm already doing. It's just setting up another camera and then saying a few pieces here and there as I'm going. Exactly. So I definitely want to do more content like that.
Yeah, totally, man. Like I used to be like kind of the same way, like when I talked to people where I was like super shy and everything, like back when I first started filming, and like it was weird, man. The second I had a camera in my face and like not very many people around, it was just like I just like blab away, right? But I just like loved doing it so much that it was just like it just became like very easy to talk in front of the camera, and that kind of crossed over into like public speaking, I guess, or like being around other people and like starting conversations with just randomly, right? So I think YouTube could actually help with that. And the nice thing about it too is you can script it, right? If you don't like a line, you just, stop the camera, redo it. Super easy.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing about it. It's good practice.
For sure. I don't know, did you guys get the link of the video I sent you? Maybe checking that out for the last little bit?
Yeah, for sure. Let me pop it up here.
Yeah, so this video is just like a last minute video. We did no planning really on this one.
Dude, that was super dope. Honestly, man. That was really dope. I mean, like, any, like, constructive criticism from that? Like, I would say, I guess, like, maybe a storyline, but, like, even then, it's like, did the artist more so want, like, performance scenes?
Yeah, like we didn't really plan out like a storyline or anything like that. It was more so just planning out some cool locations. It was a really last minute video. We did it like I think my second to last day or something like that in Kamloops. Is pretty last minute, so we didn't really have much time to plan out anything.
Yeah, no, the locations, transitions, color grading, like everything was on point, man. Even like the gimbal work too, like nothing was like shaky or like wobbly or anything. Like I didn't notice anything at least. So like 10 out of 10, man. It was like awesome. Like that's like how many music videos have you done now?
I'm not sure. Maybe 20.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
It's pretty good, man. And like you like that's just all like you like no help on set, nothing, hey?
No, that's just
nice.
Good for you.
No, actually, wait. No, I have to give credit to his girlfriend. At one point in the tunnel, that strobe light is actually just one of these newer lights here. She just had one of these in her hand, turning it on and off.
Nice.
Like the strobe. So that was she assisted me there.
Nice.
Can I ask you how much you charge for that?
For that one, 500 for that one there.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's worth more than that.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. Like that was really good, man. Like it's worth more than $500. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
You kind of had asked me earlier about pricing.
Yeah.
And it's something like I'm kind of struggling with to provide advice to on people. It's on my to-do list to create an actual YouTube video on how to price your videos. The issue is that like there's so many variables that are like dependent on where you're at in your career, what city you live in, how many competitors are in that city. There's just a lot of variables to consider. So everyone's situation is a little bit different. But I don't know if there's any questions that you wanted to ask me with respect to your kind of current situation that I could maybe provide you some value with.
Yeah, so actually, like even just yesterday, I had, I think 3 artists hit me up about videos yesterday, and 2 of them, like I told them that my price rate, like, because I don't have like a set rate for a video, because I want, each video is completely different on how much work it involves, what the effects are, location, all that. So I charge based on a video. I've done one video where I've charged $800, but most of my videos I've charged, like when I was first starting out, I was doing them for free or for like $50, and I was putting like, I was doing videos for $50 and I was putting in like 25 hours of work into it. Like,
well, dude,
so,
I remember, hold on one second. I'm just gonna this camera. It's actually a funny story about that Bonfils BTS. So I remember I filmed, so Bonfils hit me up, and this is like, again, like my 4th or 5th music video, right? And he hits me up one more. He's like, yo, I got a cool song. Like, can you film a music video for it? The only thing is I don't have a budget. So like, can we do something? I'm like, all right, bro, just let me vlog the whole thing. I was like, I'll try a vlog, and like these are the perfect artists to do it with, because like I filmed with them a bunch and I'm comfortable around them and comfortable vlogging around them. So I remember we like vlogged and everything, and then at the end of the shoot I'm like, bro, like can you just hook a brother up with a tip at least, bro, like something? And he's like, all right, bro, I'll go to the ATM now. I don't mean to call him out. I mean, this was like 4 years ago, but I remember he comes back, he's like, bro, I got like $60, like you can see the receipt, like I just drained my bank account. I'm like, oh bro, just keep it, man, it's all good, bro. But like, you know, back in the day, like 3-4 years ago, he was pretty young at the time. He's younger than I am, so but yeah, man, like I used to do that stuff for free all the time. I mean, was it the right thing to do? I mean, built up my portfolio. And like, how many people shoot music videos where you live?
There's like a couple production companies that do them here and there, but not really too often. Yeah. There's this other guy John, that I think he did like 3 or 4 videos maybe.
So not a whole lot of competition.
Oh, and my buddy Tyler did like 1, I think. So I was like, as far as I'm aware of, as far as I can think of right now,
see, like
the main person that was into music videos. But there's a couple other people that did them here and there.
Yeah, like my whole understanding when I started doing music videos, I was like, oh man, like nobody else is really shooting them around here, and like why don't I just go and shoot everybody's shit for free, or like for like $100-$200, get my name out there like super quick before anybody even has time to get into music videos. And that's exactly what I did for like straight up like a year and a half, man. Like I undercharged so heavy, but like I'm for the most part one of the first people, like one of the first people or directors that people go to for like a freelance based music video around here now. So just kind of like totally monopolized it, to be completely honest.
So I guess to like go back a little bit to like where I'm at with my pricing is like I'll charge based off of a video. Normally it's about $500 or $600. And I like yesterday with the artists that hit me up, 2 of them, I told them my price, and they're like, well, that's too much. Like, what about $200?
Yeah, no.
And like I have that happen like all the time, and that's where I kind of wanted to ask about pricing, because like I was under the impression that maybe where I'm at with my skill, I'm charging too much.
No.
Because
no, I wouldn't say
like
so.
I have a lot of people tell me that they want it for like $200 or less even sometimes.
That's the issue with music videos. And like I kind of had mentioned it, where like they're fun to shoot, but like, and
Yeah.
obviously Vancouver's a little bit different. There's bigger name artists with bigger name budgets, but like where you're at in your career, these guys or girls are gonna try to take advantage of you because they think that they can, right? So
Yeah.
that's where I think for you it's important to get a nice balance of corporate work with music video work. Like, don't get too focused on music video work. Because the corporate work's going to end up allowing you to buy new gear to improve your music video stuff. But like, we still shoot music videos here at Subtle, but they're significantly less from a revenue standpoint than what we would charge somebody for a corporate video. But we extract a ton of value from them. Coming back to that previous points I made, where we get a BTS video from them, maybe we create some raw editing files that we then sell as digital assets later. YouTube or Instagram content, TikTok content. We try to extract additional content from it that's going to help grow our brand, as opposed to getting too hung up on the dollars, because the dollars aren't really there for music videos. Unless you're really like top of the game in like big metropolitan areas, right? So
Which takes a long time to do, and even then, man, like the music scene's still just like corrupt in its own ways, man. Like in terms of like being a videographer, like I've seen all of the shit. Like I've seen all of the bullshit with like freelance music videos, like everything, man. And it's just like, at the end of the day, I'm sitting there stressing, like putting, let's say 15 hours into a music video, like pre-production, shooting, editing, and I'm getting paid the same amount as maybe doing like, you know, maybe 5 hours of work for a corporate video. So it's like, and corporate clients will be on time. They won't run on rapper time, as we all know. They're gonna pay like right away. There's no bounce in checks. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's still fun to shoot music videos, but at this point, like I try to just like pick and choose who I work with now. And if I'm gonna shoot a music video, like it has to be like a banger, and like we have to put like a lot of value and like production value into it. Make sure it's just like really good, and that makes the editing process more fun too, right?
I was just gonna say that that's where I want to work towards too, is just working with people that are a little, even just take their music career a little more seriously, and they have more of a budget, even not necessarily like I should more, like a lot more to put to me, but I want to be working with people that have more of a budget to put into renting locations and like more of that, like more money for that stuff, because I feel like I don't even know what I'm capable of completely, because I haven't had the opportunity to work in a scenario where I'm able to have a rented out location, have extras in the video and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
But definitely trying to work towards more like corporate stuff to get the consistent income
and then you can build
the
out
bills.
Yeah, exactly. It's like at the end of the day, like one thing that I think a lot of creatives, when they're at the stage you're at, especially when they just like jump in full time, is they have the issue of saying no to people, whether that's a music artist or a corporate video or a company, because they're trying to get you to do work for $100 when you know that you're worth more than that. Being able to like just create that thick skin and say, no, my time is more valuable than that, is important. But like it's tough because you just branched out, you want to pay the bills, you have life to pay for, right?
Yeah.
What does your process look like for like, when you deliver an invoice, what do you do? Like your business backend, are you using a software to track any of your expenses? Where does that all land with you?
That's like something I still am trying to figure out. I have, as far as my expenses go, I'm still kind of low, because I'm just getting into, like I just submitted some names to like make it a legit business. I'm still working towards that part of the business and getting my business license and setting that up. I want to get that done, and then be able. I've been talking to an accountant, figuring out like what I need to be charging for taxes and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's gonna also help me figure out what I need to be charging to make enough. As far as like my invoice goes, I just have like an invoice template.
Okay.
And I just put that in there. And then I have just like I have a receipt book that I have, like I keep track of everything. And that's pretty much it for now.
That's okay. At least you're like taking the step to take that seriously, right? Yeah. I mean, good news for you. We're in the process of launching like a new series on the YouTube channel that basically educates people like yourself on how to take care of the expenses, like what is an expense, how to record an expense, what's an asset, how to record an asset. We use a software called QuickBooks here at Subtle. It's an online software for accounting. It is kind of intimidating to look at, but it's fairly inexpensive. When you first sign up, I think your first year is like a couple dollars per month. And then it jumps to like $10 or $20 depending on how much you want within it. That would be what I would kind of advise you from your business back end to maybe take a look into is QuickBooks. Like I said, we have some videos that are going to be dropping that will help you a lot. But the reason I love it is because it's actually really easy to use once you get like the kind of simple understanding of it, and you can like set up automation so that like, do you have a business bank account or does it all run through your personal right now?
Right now it's just my personal because I don't have my business
license?
registered or
Yeah.
anything. Once I get my business registered, I'm going to be opening up a business bank account and it'll be separate.
Cool.
But yeah, for now it's just in my account.
Yeah. So just to kind of further that, like when you get to that point and you set up the business bank account, you can actually link the business bank account to QuickBooks, and it has a cell phone application and it has a desktop application, and you can like set it up so that QuickBooks will identify like if you, for example, I get gas at the same gas station Co-op. It's different locations in the city, but that's the same gas station I always get to. And the accounting software identifies that as like a consistent thing because it happens every 2 weeks that I fill up gas. It identifies that as gas expense, and then it actually does the work for me. So like it basically, what I'm telling you is like, if you can take some time to learn about it, it's going to save you a shit ton of time in the long run because you can set it up so it automates it, and then you are left with more time to do the creative stuff, to do getting new businesses, because we've both been there. It's overwhelming with where you're at.
Yeah.
Like you're a one-man show doing video editing, you're filming, your client relationships, you're trying to cold call to get new businesses. Like it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So anytime you can implement some automations to kind of make your life a little bit easier, it'll allow you to grow your business quicker.
Yeah, and the less you have to pay an accountant during tax season, if everything's organized, like all your receipts are in line, like your write-offs receipts are in there for all your gear that you maybe purchased, like accountant goes in there, boom, boom, maybe a couple $100, right? If everything's perfectly organized. But people do spend a lot of money on accounting if they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And the advantage to like where you're at in your career is, like you said, you don't have that many expenses, right? Like, so it's not that much work to do. And for the cost that you put towards it, like the first year is like, it'll cost you like $25 for an entire year, but it's going to save you a lot of headache where like you're 6 months down the road and you're like, oh shit, like I don't know where any of my receipts are. My accountant's going to ask me like, okay, like, do you have receipts that match these expenses? If you don't, you technically can't claim them against your taxes. You could, but if you were to get audited, you'd have to pay it back. Most accountants will advise you not to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just some little snippets of information that might help you from a business side of things.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep.
So you said that you think that video would be worth more.
Dude, if you lived in Toronto, you could get away with charging $12.50 for that. I know a lot of people in Toronto that like shoot music videos. Like a lot of people. I know the guys that are running like Tory Lane's music videos. I know the guys that are shooting whoever from whatever hood, like lowest end music videos. Like I know people who shoot in between that, and yeah, like straight up like $12.50. Comparing that to like other people's work that I know of and how much they charge, I'd say yeah, $12.50, $1,500.
Now for you, what I would like, it's important from like a business standpoint not to like bite off more than you can chew.
Yeah.
Like you always kind of want to gradually build up, and like this applies to us today. Like I know our value is here, but we're charging just a touch underneath of it because it's still important to get business in the door to build a brand. Like we're only 1 year, we're not even a full year into our business. Yeah. So it's important to still get traction to build a brand, to create reputation. Yeah, but you're charging too little with respect to the music videos, to put
Yeah.
it bluntly.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is like it depends on where you live. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
for music videos, like for here, you know, it's hard to squeeze more than $1,000 out of an artist around here. Whereas you go to like somewhere like LA, it's like I'm DPing a set that's worth $10,000. And then like people in like Toronto, like the average, like just like the lowest end music video there is $750. So, but that's just how it is, because like that's the music capital of Canada. So you kind of just have to like find like what works and like what people are willing to pay, and then just start approaching like bigger artists that actually have like grant money or just have extra funds or management or something.
Do you approach like too many artists, or do artists mostly come to you?
Mostly artists come to me at this point, but if I really wanted to work with like a bigger artist, I would probably contact their management and like set up like a reel and like look over an email a few times and just send it off. But it's just kind of difficult because of like where we live. So if I lived in like LA or something, completely different story. Like I could say like confidently say that I'd be working with like really big name artists out there. It's just a lot easier.
I had a question for you with kind of coming back to the corporate video side of things. So I think that that's kind of where you really need to kind of focus on improving, because once you kind of get that dialed in, you're going to start to live a lot more comfortably. Like it's competitive in Vancouver, I would assume. I don't know the video industry.
Yeah.
I would assume it's competitive based on its city size, but there's also a shit ton of businesses in Vancouver, right?
Yeah.
So one thing that like I still do to this day, and before this call, I was actually building out like a pitch deck for a bigger name client in Saskatchewan here. And the advice that I would give you is like, you've done so many things right, which I want to make sure that you recognize that, like creating the list of businesses to target. Excellent. Creating like within that business, you can identify, okay, their social media has a hole here. I can provide value by this, whether that's photo or video. That's awesome. The next step that I would suggest you taking, and I've seen it work well, is put some time in. So like, for example, that Shreddies commercial that you did, or that Shreddies cinematic that you did, if you can present something like that to a business, it shows that you're like, you have initiative, you're willing to go above and beyond. And the example that I'm talking about, I can't really get into too many details because we haven't actually finalized the contract, so I don't want to jinx it, but what worked for our situation is like I went ahead and Dyson created a pitch deck with like kind of a rough storyboard. We took some images from a few other videos for inspiration, and we approached them with like, here's the video, here's the storyboard, here's the script, here's what it's going to cost you. We just delivered them like everything that they would need, and they were like blown away by it.
Yeah, it said no one had ever approached them like that for like a collaboration project.
So it's little things like that where like you're clearly a really creative dude, and if you don't have a shit ton of business to the point where like you're like, I don't have time to create a storyboard based on a video that like may or may not get me money, I can understand that. But I think from this call, I can understand that you're probably more towards, I have the time to go put the time and effort in to create some sort of storyboard to pitch them on it, and they're going to be blown away by it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of up and coming creatives, like I push that like you need to get out, you need to call, you need to go into the business, but you need to have a little confidence in yourself to like really be like, you know, I'm good at this shit. Like, here's what I can deliver you. And chances are that business owner's gonna be like, whoa. Like it's one thing to like approach them and be like, I see the hole in your business. Here's where I can provide you value. It takes it 10 steps further if you show them a proof of concept while you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, it gives you the ammunition.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, just to like kind of add to that like Kyle says, like you're a creative person. Like I didn't even think of doing these things like when I was like in the same stages as you. Like I didn't even think of this shit. Like I would literally just go and shoot free videos for everybody. I wouldn't have a list of like businesses to call. Like I was that 99% of other filmmakers that were just going through the motions of like the random motions until something just like caught. Whereas with you, like you have a plan. Like most people don't have a plan. Most people don't do what you're doing. So just keep that in mind, that you are part of like the 1% of people that are actually like taking everything like seriously and like really looking at like the big picture.
Good to know I'm going down the right path.
Yeah, totally. Man.
Yeah, you just got to stay consistent with it, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of scary. It's stressful as shit. Like, it comes with a lot of ups and downs, like, especially from a mental health standpoint. Like, you're going to have lows where it's like, oh, fuck, was this the right decision? Should I have done this? Should I move back home? Should I? Where it's like, you just keep doing what you're doing and just trust the process. Like, if you really want it and you're good at it, then it's going to work out for you. If you have nothing else, I mean, it was good chatting with you. It was good to finally put a face to the username, right?
Like for now, I think that was like all my questions. I'm sure like I'm gonna implement a lot of this stuff and have way more questions for the future.
For sure.
If you don't, I'm gonna be upset with you.
Questions. Yeah. What was that? Sorry.
I said if you don't, I'm gonna be upset with you. Because you're right there. You just gotta do it, man.
Yeah, for now, I think that was like all the questions I had.
Sweet.
And
awesome, man.
Feeling pretty confident about the future.
There we go,
Sweet,
buddy.
Dude.
Love it. If you have any other questions, just hit us up. You got our emails now.
Yeah.
Or DM, whichever's easiest for you. But thanks for your time.
I appreciate you guys' time.
Anytime, man.
Cheers.
Take care, dude.
Okay. You as well.
Peace.
Bye.